All right, guys, good afternoon. We're here in Miami. My name is Will. I wanted to do something different today. Wanted to have a conversation with my friends, my personal close friends, to just discuss some issues between men and women, specifically here in Miami. Really want to have some really deep, thought-provoking conversation, and hopefully it leads to more discussion as well down the line. So I hope you guys enjoy. All right, guys, first of all, thank you very much for being here. This is literally a conversation that I've been wanting to have probably a good 10 years from now. I finally had the right circle of people that I wanted to kind of bring together to sort of bring this vision to life. So first and foremost, let's just sort of introduce ourselves, go around. I'll go ahead and start. My name is Will, obviously. I work in the world of finance. I've been an underwriter, financial analysis, analyst, I should say, for the last 6-7 years. I'm originally from New York. I've been down here in Miami for the last 7 years, 2013.
Hi, my name is Khadisha Nicholas. I am a full-time doctoral candidate of public health. I have been living in Miami for 4 years, originally from Brooklyn, New York. And my IG handle is dr.khadisha. That's Kadesha.
Hugo here. I've been in Miami for about 5 years now. I'm very passionate about the arts, so if you'd like to follow me, I'm at Art, Wine, and Emotions.
So my name is Vijay Singh. I was born and raised in Miami, and what I'm really passionate about is foreign policy, and I hope to start doing things within the State Department in the next few years. And you can find me on Instagram at VJS305, which is VIJYS305.
Hey everyone, Sam G, and I'm the founder of Nest of Love. So my passion is empowering women. I was born and raised in Miami, and you can find me at Samantha, SAMANTHA__GIL or nestoflove.org.
Let's just do a quick recap as to why we're here. So obviously everybody's seen, I put a video on IG. Basically that was a response to a conversation that I had with a friend of mine who had a ladies get together at her house, and basically the women were basically talking about sort of the issues that they've had with the dating scene within Miami. And my perspective was basically, for the type of man that I consider myself to be, a good, high quality man, the process of dating has been difficult. It's been very, to the point where it's not even fun anymore. It's been a challenge, I would say. And I really wanted to kind of start the conversation with you ladies as to sort of what your feedback was initially from the video, what you got from it. And have you ever heard any men specifically say or address that particular issue about the process of dating being so challenging sometimes that we feel like it's not even worth putting in the effort?
So I will say this. I've never heard a man say that it was a challenge.
Okay.
But actually, when I heard your discussion, it actually made me start thinking about myself.
Okay.
And a little bit earlier, I was talking about when I worked at Mercedes as a finance manager, working 16 hours a day, having 4 days off in a month, which are not really days off because then you still have your own personal agenda. And I personally didn't want to date. I didn't want to deal with people. I didn't want to go through that process of meeting you, and either you're going to be honest or you're not going to be honest, or not even having the amount of time to dedicate to someone. I can't tell you, hey, Will, let's go on a date tonight. Or you say, hey, Sam, I scheduled us to have a reservation at 7:30 p.m. We're going here, let's go. I would never be able to do that. So I had no way of having a formal relationship with anyone because of what you think phase one looks like when you're getting to know someone. So when you made that statement, I understood because of who I was or how my schedule was. And I said, you know what? Damn, I wonder how many people thought of me in that form. So I was saying, for example, if I'm not interested in you, I kind of will play a game with you. Whereas it's such a challenge for you to get to me that I really just don't want you. And I think that women do that in general. So if you want someone, you want them. You don't want to really play that game. You know that if you're dealing with a serious person, I cannot play around like that.
Exactly.
So the previous relationship I was in, I knew I had to like either be with this man or not be with this man. It was, you have two options. Hey, I'm going here. Do you want to go or not? And it was just like, oh, okay. So I think it also depends on how you approach. And what I was saying earlier is kind of also where people are at or in that phase of their life.
Right.
Is how that's like. So that's what I got from your discussion, and I got a whole bunch of your thoughts. But
So my experience has been the opposite of yours. I have heard men say that they are finding it very difficult to date in, let's just say, Miami. I've had that conversation with men before, and it's because of the type of women that they are running into in Miami. We all know that Miami is a very aesthetically pleasing, surface type of environment where everything is just at face value. You literally get what you see. And I hang around a lot of professional men, doctors. I worked in healthcare for a very long time. So they're looking for something opposite of what has been out there.
Right.
And they have expressed their stress for, running into these types of women and trying to meet a certain caliber of women. And it's difficult for me because I am opposite of the women that they're running into. However, I'm going to be very blunt because this is the platform that we need to say this. I'm black with locks. Miami is not does not care for, or it's not. I don't want to say does not care for, but I'm not at the top of that list.
Not celebrated. You don't feel celebrated.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm literally a black woman who's educated with locks, and so the type of men that I would run into, who would probably engage in conversation with me and be like, oh, like you actually speak very well.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Like, so there are people out there, but they're looking for something outside of me. So they're experiencing their difficulties finding people, but where are you looking? Like, essentially, like, what are you looking for? And that's that.
Now, before I throw it to my guys, one of the things that I mentioned in that video was that is a conversation that I've never had with any other guys. So when I got the feedback from other guys on and off IG, I was surprised that there were other guys that felt exactly that same way. So speaking specifically, I'm gonna start with you, VJ, because you're actually born and raised here. So it's harder for you to have sort of a different viewpoint than, say, the rest of us do. So I just kind of talk to your experiences growing up here in Miami.
Growing up in Miami, especially when you want to talk to like on a dating scene too, it's very, very difficult too, because it's like I said, there's two types of women too. Like the one that's, that's super like into work where they don't have time to date and everything else, and also those that just, okay, I'm gonna go date and I want to have like kids like at an early age too and everything else too. So it's a very two extremes too. It's like there's no in between. Yeah. And it's again, we go from there too, where it's just like, even for like some men as well too, where they looking for that trophy wife. And same thing could be said too for some of the females too, where that's the reason why they go to the clubs to go find a man to like take care of them for the trophy too. And for me too, it's like I want to have a conversation. Like I don't want to talk to like someone who's just like an empty space. So it's very difficult as well too to find someone there to like. For me, I just like to travel. Like, what you doing? Let's just go. Let's just go. Like
you want to escape what you're already doing
exactly.
every day.
And it's like it's really difficult too. Like as you were saying too, like a rarity too, where you have someone that's just like super educated too, and just like that's what I'm interested in. I've been to that phase too, where you just go to someone that's just like dumb as bricks. I can't do that. I can't do it anymore too. That was like it's fun for like a month, and after that too, it's like you just move on to the next one too, so you get bored. So I just need someone to like stimulate me both emotionally and mentally, and that's where I gotta say I have a better connection to. And in Miami, it's like it's hard to find those. So again, to your point too, it's like where am I looking? The thing is, unfortunately, we don't have that much culture in Miami. They say we have culture here too. We don't really have culture, and
or they're from here, but they're not really.
It's a different type. Yeah, it's a different type of culture.
It's a
Yeah,
social culture.
yeah.
I like to think.
Kind of like they like stuck up a little bit. So I was like, I just want to have a conversation. It's like I don't want to. Yeah, it's just like in general, I just want to. How are you? And then just like they want to talk. Like okay, like
Yeah, but you know what's the problem here too? For example, you open a door for a Miami girl, and she doesn't even see the principle behind that you're opening a door for her, and even that the mannerism, they don't have that. They're like, why are you holding the door for me? Or what, you know, their reaction is automatically something. But I do have a question for you.
okay, go ahead.
So, do you believe that men are more visual though? So, and I mean this into the way of saying, for example, you're trying to meet people, right? So we talk about the type that you're meeting, or
Right.
this or that. So I kind of put this picture in my head that, and there's no like real reference, but lions, right? So you have the male lion that's the hunter that goes and hunts for the food. And the way that you hunt for food is with your eyes. You're looking for something. So I think that, for example, the same way when you want to start a business or you want to start something, you have a thought or an idea of exactly what it is that you want to do. So let's say your business plan. The same principles that we use for business, we need to use for when we're looking or seeking someone. So yes, I may want you to look a certain way, but look does not define what color palette you are. It does not define any of these things, but I want you to be physically healthy. I want this woman to have this type of knowledge, maybe in these fields, maybe not exactly what I do, but maybe I'm willing to learn something different. Or, you know, how much time does she spend on work and personal?
Right.
I think that even those type of things of knowing what you're looking for kind of help us, because you can automatically say red flags, like, okay, if she's this way, I'm good, you know? But sometimes women want a man that's, I guess maybe not aggressive, but persistent. Or
Assertive?
something. You know, assertive.
Assertive, yeah.
And she might want that. So maybe that's what you're getting. I mean, it all depends on where you're at.
Right.
You
I
know?
don't know, like what when they're looking for women, like do they look for aesthetics?
Are
only
you
first?
looking
Is that
like
or do you
why
have,
do
like-
you feel that you're experiencing what you're experiencing? Because then maybe we can direct you and say, well, this is maybe what the problem
Are
is.
they aware of what they want?
Well, let me
Is that what
let me
I'm trying
let me
to-
address the first question that you have as far as, you know, the visual aspect and sort of how it plays into our search, right? So I think that if you're a man that, again, we have to sort of segregate the high caliber men from just the everyday man, right? The high caliber man is a little bit more in tune with himself and what he wants. So he can probably articulate himself better than the average guy that's out there. So you have to be able to segregate them first of all. Now the guy that actually knows what he wants, obviously every man is wired visually to you know, see something that they like, whether it's a woman, whether it's a job, whatever the case may be. They see it, they want to go for it, right? But what is going to make a situation work is all the other things that go into the relational aspect between men and women, right? So I'm talking about, you know, if I'm a go-getter, I want her to be a go-getter too, right? You know, if I'm a person who feels like I can give, or I'm a giver, let's say, I need a woman that's a nurturer as well, right? It should be a mutual connection. One of the things that I didn't address in the video, but one of the things I had said to some people offline was, I feel like the process of dating has become more about, if you look at it in percentages, right? I would say that a man should probably come 60% and the woman should probably come 40%. In the sense of, the man is the one that should be the hunter, who should be making the initial steps or the initial strides forward. But he has to also know that the effort that he's putting in is actually worth it. That's where the woman's 40% is. I feel like the process has gone from 60-40 to 70-30 to 80-20 to 90-10, where it's the guy that constantly has to go further and further out to reach the woman that they're looking for.
So, two things. So I feel like the being visual aspect applies to both men and women.
Absolutely.
Both of us go into relationships or go into meeting people with an idea of what's attractive to us, and that's how we kind of initiate those types of conversations. If we are unaware about what it is we want from our partners, that's when things kind of get skewed.
Right.
Because yeah, you look handsome, like you're a great looking guy, but do you have the qualities that I want? Do I know what qualities I want out of the person that I'm connecting with? And that's what we need to kind of ask ourselves before we dive into relationships. And I think that's not what's happening a lot. We're just meeting people. We're seeing, okay, he looks handsome. I like him. We have a good conversation today. I want to be with him. Like, this is going to be my person, without diving into the core of what we want, what this person brings to the table,
Right.
and vice versa, because it's a we situation when you enter a relationship. You want to make sure that I'm bringing something to the table that he needs and he wants, and he's doing the same for me. That whole 40, 60, whatever, because I'm a bit of an independent person, I feel like it needs to be 50-50. We need to
Right.
be equal. I don't think one person should be doing more than another unless there are extenuating circumstances that maybe stop me from putting more up on the table, maybe like a job loss or something. I'm handicapped in some capacity. Whatever that may look like, that's maybe when things should be a little bit different. But I think everybody needs to be putting forth the same amount of energy. You need to be a go-getter. I need to be a go-getter. We both need to be in this together and putting in the same amount of effort together. Like, that's how that should be.
I want to ask either one of you, do you think, for example, you know how they say opposites attract, or you should date your opposite? Do you believe in that now, after your
Well,
experience?
coming from experience, I tried that. I actually was married to a Japanese girl. So,
Okay.
that went on for some time, but at the end, there were some differences in our relationship. But I come back to that area that we both saw each other in different ways. She wanted me to be a certain way. I wanted her to be a certain way. And so therefore we, instead of creating two individuals, now we created, 4 people in that relationship. So we kind of distorted ourselves with that. And yes, it could have been cultural, but at least I did try something out of, having this Mexican heritage.
Right.
Being raised in Dallas, Texas at the time where we met, and where we moved up north. So yeah, there is some truth to that. Actually, we want someone to complement you, not just be equivalently the same go-getter, because you want that opposite feedback from that one person that could probably save you from something that could, may not work for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, but yeah, I'm a big believer. I mean, I'm into, my background. If you want to go with my name and where I was from, I'm very Buddhist. I go as an artist. I do my thing. But in terms of what's in my mind and my philosophy and my DNA, that's totally different. We're surface, like I said, we're surface people. We really don't know what people are going through when we come across or when we meet them the first time. That's why communication is very important. Dialogue. If you're not going to be, you can play the field. You could be. I mean, this is not what this is about playing the field. This is about just. Earlier, you mentioned something about. I'm probably that one guy that's probably too serious that people would pick up. And I would go up to a girl and just say, well, this is who I am. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm going to take straight up.
But I think that's one of the problems.
That's what scares women. And I'm okay with that because at least they see that I'm serious and honest, and they just boom.
But that's what I feel is a problem.
Right.
That, for example, people can't even handle honesty, right? So when you're meeting people, let's say you, for an example, you meet a woman and you're telling her, you may want her or you may not, So you're like, okay, I'm looking for a relationship. Is that something that you're even doing right now, right? So for example, I recently got out of a relationship and I was not looking for one. So when I met someone and I'm like, hey, I'm not, but I also don't want to close the door because tomorrow I might be ready to be in a relationship. Right now, I don't want to even bring on, I want to get over, I want to heal from this situation and then, put you in my life or get to know you or whatever that case is. But I think that what happens too is communication is terrible right now amongst people. Is that how we've been saying around this whole thing?
Right. I think, like you said, it's because we're so much on our phone. We don't do any face-to-face communications anymore, too. And picking on your point, too, is where I feel like the best relationships are the one that's you don't force. It just comes natural, too. Like, I feel like,
It should
you know.
be like a waterfall.
Yeah.
Like, if it's forced, like,
It never works.
Said that
Yeah,
now.
it's never gonna work, too.
Because I used to think that, how you said, putting effort, and she's
Yeah.
right. We should not be putting any additional
Right.
effort. One of the, it literally should be a mutual flow.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have 100% is divided by 50% of each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's where, I mean, I get it in the initiation process, that
Yeah.
the man has to come forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I don't mean
get
it,
that.
yeah, I'm
Right.
not trying to
That's
say,
fine, but I think that everything's so convoluted today from where I grew up as a 20-year-old. So, but with
Hey, I'm
the
still
social
not
media, the social media, and there's just so many. My issue is not just with Miami, is not the area. Also, it's just you have all these rules that people are throwing out there, making videos, and they don't work for everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
It doesn't.
You know, back in the '90s, or
it
you know,
does not.
they come up with, oh, don't, if he texts you too soon, he's
Don't
desperate.
respond.
I mean, these are stupid ass rules.
It's
But-
yeah. It makes
Right. So
I hate that.
I mean, so then we come up with these. That is the game. That is
Yeah.
the game that we.
these arbitrary rules. Yeah, just arbitrary rules. It's like, yeah.
You know, and it happened
Yeah.
with a group of bunch of office people that just had nothing better to do. Just
Right.
you know, somebody was jealous that you had a date and
Right.
she did
Yeah.
what we did, and
Respond,
that's how
girl.
it starts. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
him
probably
wait.
the biggest problem that we have with dating overall.
Right.
But having social media and having an emotional support group on this phone doesn't help
Yeah.
the
I-
individual when you know they want to reach out and connect. Because like, no, I don't want to.
I do gotta say, like, one of the biggest issues is, like, you know, again, it goes back to like social media and also the media itself, to how they portray how a relationship is supposed to be too. Where it's so fake, it's like, this is not how a relationship is too. It's not true. So I think it's also what happens, like, I guess for dudes and a lot of females too, where they think of this is how a man should be and how it should be, like how it is in the movie, like in the fairy tales. Like, things don't work like that too, you know, sometimes. Yeah, because growing up, because they just see what they see on social media, and they think, oh, this is a perfect couple. Like, they see on media, it's like, oh, I want to be like that too. I'm like, you know, they probably fighting all the time too. The funniest, the funniest thing would be like too, where
Those that are in a real healthy relationship.
don't post anything.
even
Post.
anything.
Exactly too. And then
I don't even want to deal with an outside source to have
Yeah.
any type of influence
Exactly.
in my relationship.
Yeah,
So, no, thank you, sweetie.
exactly, like that's what, like, you know, the best thing I learned is like when you have a private relationship too, because I had a couple relationships that you make it public and everything, as you post it on time. That's what makes it even worse.
But then you have those two where it's private or secret. Where it's,
Okay, well, I didn't say secret. Like, you tell people. Okay, let's clarify that. Okay. What I mean is, like, it's just like low key. It's just like, you know, you post a little pictures, but you don't tell the world.
You just don't need to.
You don't need to like, hey, I'm here with that too. Not the hidden too. No, that's different. No.
But I'm
You
just-
get a secret family. You get a whole secret family. No, not that too. But I mean, it's just like, it's better to just like.
paying everything with cash.
Right.
You don't trust them.
So-
situation.
But it's just like that too. Like, I learned, like, the healthiest relationship is just like the one where you post less. You just post like a little bit.
I mean, you shouldn't have time to post. Like, it should really be about you and who you're with. Like,
Right.
that's really where your energy.
Yeah, you shouldn't post like to the world. It's like, no, it's like you should do that makes you happy,
Well,
not
that's the problem. Everybody's seeking
Other people attention.
Everyone's
approval.
Opinion.
When did that happen? Like,
It's validation, yeah.
It's been there. It just now, remember, now you have social media, right?
Made it
So
worse.
Now social media gives you this persona.
Before the break, Sam had asked me a question that I wanted to kind of jump into, because I actually wrote some notes before we even came in here. Sam had actually asked me what did phase one of the pursuit or the courtship looks like for me. So one of the things that I pride myself on is being upfront and being very direct about what I call foundational principles of how I'm approaching a relationship. All right, so I have 5 key points for me. So number 1, I'm prepared to work through issues first, not run away or shut down. A lot of men, a lot of immature men, they run away or they shut down. from issues, right? So regardless of what it is, that is my approach, that I'm looking to be a solutions-based individual. Number two, I'm prepared to shut down any other woman that I've been having conversations with, to the point whereas I remember one of my exes, I actually gave her my phone and I said, you can go through this phone and grab any 3 girls that you want me to call, that you think I may have a situation with, and I'll call them with you sitting right here and let you know it's not happening anymore. That puts a woman's mind at ease, at least in my mindset. So I'm prepared to shut down any other woman. Give you 100% of my energy. I'd rather put 100% of my energy into one woman than put some energy into a lot of women. Right. Number 3, I'm prepared to find compromise. If you are going into a relationship mentality, you got to stop thinking of yourself only and start thinking about us collectively, right? The 4th one is probably the thing I think is probably most important. I'm prepared to protect your vulnerability or your emotional side, even when I'm upset with you. So there are people who they'll protect your feelings while things are good. But when things go wrong, that's when they want to air you out, right? I have, there's things that exes have told me that I'll take to the grave, even though things haven't worked out, because that's just the way that I move, right? I believe that is what you have to get from, as a man, you have to be able to get that trust from a woman before she's able to open up to you in the beginning. So you've got to show and prove that. And then the last point is, I'm prepared to make you a priority from day one. If I meet you today and 2 weeks later we decide that we want to start dating, whatever, you automatically get that next level of priority, right? You have the most access to me. You are the person that I communicate with. When I have my free time, you're the first person I'm checking in with. Like, all those things that show you that you're important. I'm a person that believes relationships, you should look at it like when you're playing sports. You work on all your fundamentals and all that before you get into the game, right? You don't want to be the person who gets it right once you're in a relationship, or you're trying to figure out your fundamentals when you're in a relationship. You should already be bringing those things to the table. So that, for me personally, I'm gonna lay things like that out to you in the beginning, and I need to see how you react to that. Now, a lot of women don't expect things like that to come out of a man. So another point, which is totally outside of the spectrum of, again, I don't think other guys have said this or even communicate this, is me personally, I dumb down my level of maturity to where women expect it to be, as opposed to what I actually am. These things I'm saying to you right now, I've never said that to any other woman other than my best friend back home. It's because she can actually understand the level that I'm at. And I honestly, and I know you're giving me the weird face right now, but what I'll say to you is that, in my experience, when you approach conversation at that level, a lot of women will just kind of sit back and say, wow. But then they'll start to, I guess, have sort of concerns, thinking, is he just trying to run game on me? Or, he's too good to be true, like that sort of thing.
I think that they're just not, most people are not ready for love. They may think that they're ready for it, and that's where I'm pretty much getting at. So,
They're scared. They're scared of
they're
love.
so intimidated by it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how we were gonna say, let's say love or marriage or any of these types of things. Like, people don't even know what it takes for that. And I think phase 1, when I had a discussion, because I did a live on that, trying to ask someone what phase 1 looks like or should look like. And in my head, I had what he is thinking. That's why I wanted to hear his perception of what phase 1 would look or should look like, not what it is, because it's like how we've been saying, there's these fake rules of, here, find out my name, my family, what I do. Like, none of that shit matters at this point. Let's get down to the problem. Say, look, sometimes when I'm hungry, I get upset. I'm
get hangry?
Here, so carry a sandwich. And I'm joking, but I mean it. Like, let's talk about. I go backwards. So even when I built Nest of Love, I went with give me all the problems before I deal with all the greatness, because I need to know if I can even handle this shit. Because that's like marriage. It's like, oh, the honeymoon phase. No, let's go through the 20 years in phase first, and then deal with the honeymoon. Because if I can't deal with your biggest problems, whether it be your attitude or whether it be your what triggers you, tell me. Not so that I can use it against you, but so I know how not to press that button, or how I can make sure you always feel comfortable. But sometimes people are not even there, or they're not, people don't even know their traumas. Let's talk about that.
That's the
So, because I'm trying, I'm trying to. So, first and foremost, thank you. Thank you for saying everything that you just said. I appreciate you for being able to vocalize everything that you want to ideally have in your relationship. Never dumb yourself down for anyone. Never. If you can't say that to the next person that you meet, don't talk to that person. Or if you feel like you can't say that, do not talk to that. That's not the person you need to be with.
Right.
The person you need to be with is going to appreciate you being honest about your feelings and what you are going to bring to the table before anything. So get rid of that. I don't even like it. Stop it. Stop it.
I feel you. I feel you.
Second of all, we are all entering into relationships. We are all going through life with this unknown. Everything is unknown. So the fact that we are like trying to expect something or want, like, no, everything is just unknown. We have to just be able to go into it with our feet down, strong on the floor, like this is the energy I'm putting into it. This is what I expect. And we hope that we can meet people who are on the same playing field as us. Yes, it's gonna be difficult because not everybody is in their right frame of mind. We know that.
Right.
But I believe that there are people out there like us who are aware of our traumas and everything that we have experienced in life, who are aware of what we want out of a relationship. We are able to vocalize it. And I believe that those people are out there for us. So I don't ever want, especially in this time for a black man, I do not want you to feel like you have to dumb yourself down in any capacity to meet the needs of anyone else. You should be bringing your best self to that relationship. And if they can't appreciate it, forget them.
Right.
That's not the person you need to be with. That's really not. And that hurt me to hear you say that. It really hurt me to hear you, and that's why I was giving you the face, because I'm like, I know he did not.
Yeah, but that's
it. That's it. He's playing the game. Like, no.
I could never figure that out. Just
Like,
do that.
no.
And that's great. That's,
Never.
Smart.
to kind of sort of.
But it comes with the business.
But that's not the business I want to be in.
That's not.
I don't want to be in that business.
There's 2 points to that. So, one, I do agree with her 100%. That's the reason why I said I've kind of fell back a lot, because a lot of women, to your point, are not ready for that conversation, or that level of conversation coming from a guy. But 2, from a man, right? From a man. That is a conversation that I felt like maybe I shouldn't necessarily have that up front. It's still a conversation I still want to have, but I didn't know if that was something I should do up front, or you wait until something progresses a little bit more.
Wait until you see.
Happen though up front, because you should already know who you're dealing with. It wastes no tomorrow. You know, it's just like, yo, this is who I am, and if you don't like it,
but that's the thing where you're saying, like, sometimes, like, when you talk to a female, like, you don't want to be too upfront too. Like, I feel like that's sometimes, like, they, I don't know, some female get turned off. Some get turned off. Some get. Yeah, he's doing too much. Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like, you know, I feel like it's just timing. I feel like it has to go to, like, where you feel way more comfortable. Both of y'all feel comfortable. Like, I feel like you can't just, like, once you get in a relationship, just tell them.
Before you determine that you guys are going to be exclusive, then, you know, or working towards being exclusive, I think that's when that conversation should be had, because at least you guys are both on the same like playing field, where you're both working towards the same thing. So it might be best to do it then. But we're all entering into something any relationship, whether it be a friendship or situationship or a companion, like we're all entering into this with the unknown. We don't know, like we don't know what we're entering into.
At the same time, like, this is a lot of work now.
It
It's a lot
is.
more work than I thought, even when I was in a relationship, because of all these, we have all these variables, we have all these preconceived notions of each other, and it's just like is the, as they say, is the lemon worth the squeeze at the end, is the juice worth it at the end. And so, but it's very challenging. And that's why I really like, my ideal, I guess, relationship is really when just, I want someone who's not just compatible but agrees with everything I do. It's just, I want that person to complement me and also be strong, and she has to be confident in a way that it's not just about, it's not about the materialism. That has nothing to do with the relationship. The relationships, we aggregate a lot of things in life, but being successful is important. But who you are down to earth is really more to me than what what you bring in terms of whether it's great if you are self-sufficient, self-starter, business owner. I'm okay with that, but at the end, I want someone who's down to earth and that could be honest and just say, hey, let's figure it out. This is where I am.
Because you can build with someone.
Yeah, you can.
As long as they have those certain qualities that you say, okay, you know what, you have this, and this. Like, you may not be all like.
But I agree from another, let's just say from another financial perspective. Yes, you don't want to, I only make X amount, you make 5 times more that amount. Financially, that doesn't make sense, obviously. Yeah. But do you have this thing called love that gets in the way?
Well,
and then that's where what happens.
Well, for me, I don't think like financially, everything else, it doesn't matter to me. I just feel like you can start from the very bottom. You can have nothing to, as long as you still believe in yourself and you have a goal. So you have a passion for it. Like the thing is like when you have the thing is like, cool, maybe I make more money than you too, but at least, you're not making that much too, but at least you're coming up too, because, you have your goal to that, what you want to achieve too, where you're not stagnant. Like for me, the reason why I hate dating in Miami too, is I hate stagnant women, where you're in the same position where you were 2 years ago too. So that's the number one thing that really pisses me off, and that's why I get turned off a lot by a lot of women too.
I don't think it pisses you off, it turns you off.
Oh no, it pisses me off too, both. Too. It's just because it's like, for me, my goal is every year to do better than I was too. And I cannot go backwards. Like sometimes, I can fall back, but I know I will not go backwards where I was, what I was doing before. So if I'm the same way too, you gotta have the same mindset too.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't like people that just always live in the past. For me, I'm like more of a live in the future and live in the present. Like stop bringing back memories of what happened in the past. Why don't you work forward to doing that? So like, stop telling me your dreams, make it happen. Yeah, exactly. So like tell me to like, it's like exactly. It's like everybody has a dream, but then when you tell them like how you gonna achieve it, it's blank.
Well, the thing is, men are logistical thinkers, right?
Yeah.
So men are problem solvers.
Yeah.
And when a man, that's why men think you're already
Right.
programmed this way to think,
Yeah.
okay, this is where we're at. We can make this happen with this.
Mm-hmm.
Where women are not so much. That person, which is where that whole communication, where they want to talk about emotions and their feelings and, all of these things where, how you said, you come forward and you say, these are the problems and the solutions.
Let's solve it,
Like,
yeah.
Let's solve them. What are we going to do about it? A lot of times people are so focused on just the problem rather than solution. Like even with, my organization, my people I work with, I'm like, if you're gonna come to me with a problem, if you don't have the solution, don't even bring it to me because you're now gonna stress me out, and I just I don't want to deal with it.
Right.
So I think that's where I come in, and I wanted, because I understood men more than I understood women, I wanted to start breaking them down and show them and teach them, which is why I was asking you the question in the first place, what's the solution to the problem? Because sometimes people don't know they have a problem.
Right.
Sometimes you don't know. You don't even realize I didn't realize that because of my non-relationship with my father, I didn't know how to have a relationship with a man.
Okay.
So once I understood that, then I said, okay, then let me start forgiving this man first before I can start even meeting any man, and then going and working your way towards that.
Another thing which I see as well too, which sometimes a lot of females is like, how can you love other people if you don't love yourself?
That's number one.
That's I gotta say, like, that's I gotta say.
Woman, anything.
Anything else too.
I love someone more than they love themselves and more than they've ever been loved in their entire life at 40-something years old. And that was the hardest thing, and I love it because it doesn't change who I am.
Yeah.
And it's never going to.
Yeah.
But I recommend this, and I'm looking at the camera and saying this. Do not try to love someone if you do not love yourself.
Yep.
Because it's not fair, and I understand that life is legal or ethical, but it is not fair for the other person who is full with themselves for you to be at 1% or even 50%.
Yep.
You cannot love someone if you do not love yourself. Because it's like saying, I don't know my worth. What do you think I'm worth? What do you want to pay me?
They look for validation. That's the whole thing. They look for
I'm
validation. Yeah.
Stop talking to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
All right, so guys, let me ask you something. I'm gonna start with you, Khadijah. How would you describe Miami relationships in one word?
In one word, I would describe it as, that's difficult, because I have a lot of one words. The first one that pops into my head is overbearing. I've encountered a lot of men in Miami that wanted to, I guess, like, they were just too much for me at that point in time. Like, they wanted me to post that I'm talking to them, that I'm hanging out with them, and like, like it was just like too much. And I'm very laid back. I come from New York. I like to chill, live in the moment. Let's have a good time.
Right.
But it was like, no, I need you to make it clear that like, right, like that we're talking right now. We're together right now. Like, hold hands. I'm sorry, it's COVID, but hold hands. Like, be with me. But like, it was just very overbearing for me, and coming from New York, where everyone's just chill, laid back. Let's just have a good time. Let's enjoy each other. It was just too much. Yeah.
You go.
Well, from my perspective, I think it's very interesting because that's a very good question, by the way. But I think I have two words for it. One of it, I like it when it's spontaneous. It can be spontaneous because you don't know who you're going to run into. But the other part that I do see a lot is it has to be grandiose.
Yes.
There's this decadent level that it has to be top level. It has to be, if it's not the Ferrari, if it's not
Gonna
the
come get you in the
Valkyrie,
Lamborghini today.
It's just not Miami. And so, but it's grandiose is a good word because you can still be grandiose but still have class and style without being a showcase or just let's throw all the money at it for a weekend and then you're gonna spend in the next year paying that off.
Yes.
I'm not that rich, but I'm not that stupid either. I want to have a good time.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But you want to be smart. You want to be intelligent about how you enjoy yourself. I mean, there's so much Miami has in terms of entertainment, but I prefer spontaneous.
Okay. VJ?
The one word I would describe Miami is facetious, which is the reason why I say that too is because I feel like a lot of relationships in Miami are built like on lies too. Yeah. Where it's like a dude or a female would meet them till they will say one thing and then they're completely different. So that's why I say like a lot of relationships here are not built on trust. It's just built on what they think they are than actually what they are. So I gotta say that's the biggest issue about dating Miami too. It's like you're pretending to be somebody you're not.
I mean, I think it's just broken. Like, they're just broken.
Broken?
That's the word. I think they're broken. They're they're not real. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing.
Exactly. It's just
I mean, it
yeah.
starts off already like, bent out of shape, and it's just the word is broken. Like that's
Yeah.
what I've seen. Even with friendships, when I would see groups, because Miami will be like it's
Cliquey. It's cliquey. Yeah.
and it's
Cliquey.
like it's so many people. I'm like, this is such a fake friendship. Like you can see it, like you. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my word. Simple, broken. They're broken. They're broken relationships.
I think the word I'm going to use is optional. I think that everybody goes into. I think that everybody goes into a situation not saying this is what I want, it's this is what I will consider until something better comes along. That's how it feels.
But I think that's everywhere. That's in New York, that's in the big cities. People have
I can
options.
see that in New
It's not
York,
just
yes.
here. So I agree with you, but it's not unique to Miami.
I mean, I'm speaking from the outside looking in. I'm 7 years single out here, so I haven't even had any relationships down here. But I'm just talking about as far as the way, I'm just talking about the initial approach to it. You're not intent on trying to do something. You're not focused on trying to do something. If I'm in the business sector and I'm focused on trying to get something done, there's not an option to do A or B or C. I'm doing this one thing, right? If I have that mentality going into a relationship, then it shouldn't be, well, I'm gonna see how this goes, but maybe if something better comes along, I'm gonna jump to that.
Now, do you think the men play a major role in why relationships are the way they are in Miami? Because we all know that Miami is for show.
Right.
Faux show.
For sure.
For sure. So do you think that men have actually kind of built the dating scene the way it is?
Oh, absolutely.
They rent a car.
Wait, no. I wouldn't say the dudes from Miami too. I say like the tourists, the people that come here like just here and they do the. So it's the tourists. Yeah.
Just the
culture, yeah.
It is that entertainment.
Yeah.
So
Again, it has to be decadent. It has to be grandiose.
And then-
If I'm gonna go all out, I gotta get that Rolls Royce. And that's fine if you're on vacation.
Right.
But it's not. If I used to work on Lincoln Road in Washington, and I worked there every day. I see people partying every day. I can't do what they do on a daily
Right,
basis.
right.
because I would be flat out broke.
Right.
I would be dehydrated. I would look like a prune. You know.
You'll be in a hospital, you need an IV.
I mean,
Right.
I'm actually 21 years
give me a
old, by the way.
B12, please.
You know, I just turned 21 last week. You know, but here I am with a raspy voice and dried out skin because everybody's just partying.
Right.
It's not real life.
Right.
You know, and that's the way life is too. Like, you can't be happy all the time. Happiness is a frequency. If you were to hold that smile for 24 hours, you could not do it. So you have to
Yeah.
have some sort of foundation that you could live your life and be. I'm gonna be okay today. Maybe tomorrow I'll do something interesting or I'll treat myself. But and it's not a problem for Miami to say that because we have such high volume of tourism and people wanting to spend and make their dreams happen here. That's fine. That's actually a good thing. It's good for the economy. But from a realistic relationship perspective, it's really, really,
Powerful.
it's the weekend only, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to toss a question specifically to you ladies, because we've been talking a lot about sort of how men view women, but I want to hear about the women, how you view men. What do you think, ladies, would be sort of things that a man can do initially to show himself to be different from the rest? Like, what are specific things that you guys are looking for to make him stand out from the rest?
I think a characteristic trait I would want first and foremost is just someone who's honest. Like, just be upfront with me.
Okay.
Because you don't get a lot of honesty here in South Florida. And I think once you're honest, I think everything kind of just flows.
Flows
It
after
feels,
that.
Let me add to that.
flows.
Do you think if someone was honest as a man, do you think that would be boring?
Or weakness. Or weakness.
For me, no. For me, no, because like outside of a man, I have enough going on. I have a lot going on. Like I'm not sitting here. I have a swim line. I have a healthcare blog. I'm in school. I got enough. I got enough. I don't need you to entertain me with tricks and hoopla. Like I don't need that. What I need you is to be you and to be truly you. And in that way, we can work on building something together. And if you have a lot going on, I don't think that you should have the energy to be dishonest anyway. Like when do you have time to do that? So really, honesty is just probably like the number one thing I ask for. And then we can go from there. I feel like everything will just flow naturally. Like once you're real with me, I'm always gonna be real with you. And then we could just go from there.
Right.
So that is definitely one of the key ones. Then I would say the other two would be consistency and communication. So for example, if you call me before you go to work, you wake up at 4 a.m. and that's when you call me, and you call me 2 days or 3 days at that time, and then the next day you don't,
every day for the rest of your life.
Consistent. So for example, I don't want it to be like, well, I've been calling you for 3 days, now you gotta call me too. No. We don't need to have that rule. If you're the one who wakes up first, then you should contact me. I feel that's just
So
my
you're the type of person that you like that good morning text.
if you wake up first, if I wake up first, I don't care.
Right. No, it's like whoever gets it first,
whoever
yeah.
gets up first,
But you-
I think if you start something,
exactly
be
consistent.
Be consistent with that.
And I said
You can't
that
just change.
to
Okay.
someone recently,
If you
like,
stop, women will be like, what
we
happened? Like,
automatically,
who's at your house? Why you not texting me?
we are programmed to learn. It's like a child. We know why our kid's crying. When the kid cries, he wants this. It's this specific cry. So that's also a technique. So you have parent, child, and adult
Right.
with humans, right? So once you learn all of these techniques, you understand what you're looking for. So me, I need you to be consistent. The moment you're off, something's interfering. What happened? So then that automatically triggers not just an insecurity, but then now it's a concern, right? So I need you to be consistent. Same thing that I told someone, for example, if I got into a relationship looking a certain way, then I need to consistently remain looking this
That's
way.
one thing my mother thought.
So then it was communication, right? So let's say we're learning each other and you don't like something or something made you feel uncomfortable or you really like something. Either way, positive or negative, speak about it.
Yeah. So I think you wanted to say.
You know what I'm saying? So
I think
it's,
that's, I mean, let me interrupt you, and I hate to do this, but I think that's where you have the trust. You know, trust is a key component in where you won't have to worry about that consistency because it's based on trust.
if you don't know the person, you were talking about phase one.
Yeah, phase one. Right.
Okay.
So we're building.
But let me ask you, how many phases is there too? So that's
I
another
don't know.
question.
That's a good question.
That's what I'm saying. So how many phases? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean.
How many phases are, but there's definitely a phase one.
No, of course it's phase one. But I mean, is there just phase one and phase two?
Great.
I mean, that's how I roll.
Alright, so I googled a list of like the most asked dating questions for the first date,
Okay.
and apparently like they were kind of need to go through these jokes in order to make it like a good first date. I mean, these questions in order to make it a good first date. So we're just gonna go around. I'm just gonna ask some, and then you answer the dating question.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more insight on you.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start with.
Go ahead, Will.
All right, go get. What's the question?
I'm clicking on it. My bad.
I think you're crazy.
Well, answer honestly.
Yes.
He's a couple drinks in. I don't know.
Listen, this is the truth serum. This is the truth serum. You know that.
You're trying to get insta famous off of this.
Listen,
It's gonna go viral.
Go viral. Be like,
This
alright.
is what we're
That-
looking for.
That's what it is. Preach.
Alright, so like we're gonna spice it up. So what's the most embarrassing thing that you can remember that has happened to you on a date?
I do remember.
No name, no name.
Okay, so okay. So I remember there was a young lady. This is the only young lady that I've ever been on a date with who's older than I am. I was like 24, she was like 26. And I've been pursuing this woman for over a year. And I finally got it to go on a date with her, but I was so nervous about it. And of course, because she's an older woman, like I'm trying to impress her and stuff. So, you know, we're sitting there having lunch, I think it was. And every single time I would get ready to ask her a question or say something to her, I would drop my silverware. So you have to pick up your silverware at some point. They can't keep giving you your shit, right? So I would drop the silverware and I have to duck all the way up under the table to go grab it. And I would put it back on the table and she's like, "You're not really gonna eat from that, are you?" So it was like, it was so embarrassing. It got to the point where I told her, I was like, "Look, I am so nervous about this situation because of the fact that I never worked that hard for a woman's attention before in my life. So the fact that I actually finally got it and I was too nervous to just be myself, like that's sort of just one of the things that happened to me. It was horrible. It was horrible. Of course, you know, I never got a second date after that.
Of course, we know that.
Yeah.
She used the silverware on you.
Yeah.
We can go around.
Well, then now I'm gonna let everyone know, and it won't be special anymore. I am passionate about giving back to homeless people. Like, I will go out of my way at any point, any time in my life to do something for a homeless person. Like, there have been several times where I've had money or food or something in my possession and I saw someone homeless and I would park the car, get out, even on the highway, I've done this before. Park the car, get out, and like, here, have it all. Like, I don't need it, you need it, you deserve it. And that's something I do all the time. A lot of people don't know that because I don't, like, that's not something I want to advertise, but
Right.
I do it all the time.
Oh, I think everything he started off with. I think that is the ideal relationship. Someone who's transparent, who's honest, who is a problem solver, who's not intimidated, who is ready to accept whatever it is in general. I think that is very important. It's like I go into the relationship and I say, look, I'm I'm halfway full right now. This is what I'm working on. And you pretty much saying, okay, is there anything that I can do to assist you? Like, how can we get to that next level? And I think that that for me will be ideal. Like, everything he said is probably to the T of what I believe someone should either be or what they should do at first. Like, that's just because I'm a dominant woman and I'm very like assertive and all these things. So like, for me, I can run circles around people, and I don't want to. I want someone who can handle me. And that's what I was about to say too.
Place, so you like someone to like test you, like know what's your limits, and just to like.
Well, that already stops me and says, okay, you like, I'm like, girl.
Relax. Just chill.
And it's beautiful.
So you like that when people like kind of like, okay, I know where you're going with this, but just chill.
Yeah,
Yeah, they handle them too, like.
And handle them the correct way.
Of course. Yeah, politely, just like, hey.
Because that is like I said, that's not a guy, that's a man. Like, that's a man saying,
of course,
this is what it is, or this is who I am, and if you're not ready for this, like, you need to let me know too, because it's not like.
I mean, that's I gotta say, like, I gotta say that's the thing for like as a man too. You gotta know where to. I mean, I wouldn't tell tell like a female like put her place, but you just gotta be like, look, hey, you're going too far. Let's just chill. Like, you can't have I don't know, maybe it's just like a man thing. It's not checking them, so it's just like more so like, look, hey, you're going too far with that too. I need you to just relax and just think about that too, and just like, because you can't have like you said before, like a woman just like dominant. You can't just have them walk all over you too. Like, you gotta.
Even want to.
No,
Sometimes it's like the kid who tests their parents.
Yeah, test because the thing is like a female, they want to see how far you can do that too.
So,
yeah.
I think it's that.
Yeah, exactly. And the same thing too as well too, like, you know, for a dude, I want a female to like to put like, you know, tell me when I'm wrong too, like stop agreeing with me, like, yo. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, you know, just like be honest, like, yo, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. That's it. Yeah, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong too, because yeah, I know sometimes I'm wrong too, but if you're not gonna tell me I'm wrong, I'm gonna keep on doing it. It's like the same thing, yeah.
I want to ask you guys, how
Yeah.
important is arousal versus attraction?
For me, you gotta mentally stimulate.
And what? No. It's a both related.
Yeah.
Arousal is the sexual drive. Like, when
Right.
you're like, okay, I want to like, yo, I want this guy to take me
Yeah.
off this girl. You know what I'm saying right now? Like versus what makes him attractive is like, okay, you got a steady job, you got this, you got, you know what I'm saying?
I think it's very important for I think for everyone's gonna agree. We want someone who arouses us because sex is a very important part of any relationship. But we also want someone who we're attracted to, and whatever attraction looks like for you. Because some people are attracted to intellectual conversation. Some people are attracted physically, like the person has to be aesthetically pleasing. But we all want that person to meet our attraction and arouse us at the same time. Like, especially if you're like someone who weighs sex as like a major part of your relationship. You want to make sure that that person can, on site, I see you, okay, gray sweatpants, let's go. Let's go, come on, what are we doing?
Women in the gray sweatpants.
It's quarantine, we got things to do, come on.
The reason I ask that is the personality traits that a man possesses.
Passion or compatibility?
Ooh, that's a good. I can't even answer that. That's a good one. Yeah. Wait, you the star. You the star. Cardi B. Okay.
I definitely think it's passion.
Yeah.
Because if you're passionate, you're gonna be passionate in everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
Lovemaking, business, everything. When you're a passionate individual, you pour that into every different thing. So compatibility is, I think, is selective, right? Yeah. So passion is just, you know, it's different. So I'll take passion.
Yeah, let me jump in on that one. Yeah, I would co-sign with Samantha 100%. I think compatibility is something that you can create somewhat. Passion is there regardless of what's going on, the circumstance. Like, yo, I've got to do this. I've got to have this one. Whatever it is, like, nothing is going to stop you from getting what you want out of that situation. Right. So, yeah, passion, I put that way above compatibility.
I agree with what everyone has said. So nothing to add there.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the ingredients. You have to have a passion for life, for yourself. That's what drives individuals. That's what drives businesses, and that's a business model for a lot of people.
All right, guys, it's a wrap. Hope you appreciated the discussion that we had today. Be sure to like, follow, share the video that you see. Once it hits Instagram, you can find me, MR_Will White 84. Easy to find, but not easily defined. We out.